All right, everybody, man, it's your boy Trey with Let's Just Talk Fitness, man. We are back again with a whole nother interview, man. And you already know. Do I have to say it? Come on now. What am I thinking, y'all? Right? Right? Exactly. This person's going to be dope because I don't have anybody that come on my channel who ain't dope, who ain't got a story, who ain't got something to share that you can benefit from. You know what I'm saying? I'm all about growing and being able to level up your fitness and just in general, level up in life. But these stories and the people that I bring on here to help with that is truly amazing. And this person here, who I'm about to introduce to you, I can't begin to tell you how much I have already learned and how shocked I've been through what I've learned about her. But I think y'all are going to be just as shocked, if not more. And you'll definitely be able to relate to what she's been through. So that's been the biggest thing of all. She's been very transparent and authentic and just willing to share what she's been through with me, just from what I've known about her so far. But we're going to get right on into it. But before we do, make sure that you like, share the video, comment below. Comment below if you want to have me bring someone else on, reach out to me in the DMs. Let me know your thoughts on this interview. Make sure that you follow this person here and just support and just show that love and support throughout my channel as well as hers. But with that said, we are going to introduce Lena. How you doing?
Hi.
How you doing? How's everything going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm so happy to have you on because, again, like I said, I've been watching you. I've been watching your profile, your content. We've talked a bit. I already know a bit about you, but they don't. But you doing this is so significant in the aspect of this being something that, you told me you don't normally do, right? And you've never done anything like this before.
Never. No.
Never. Not even public. I mean, no public speaking, none of that.
No. I mean, I've forcefully had to public speak like in school.
In school, yeah.
It was always something that I wasn't very comfortable or used to. So
wow.
It's definitely a new path.
That is dope. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So if you can just start us off with more so of where you're from, a little bit about your childhood, your background in terms of where you're from, and yeah, just how that has molded you into today. What is a bit about your childhood?
Okay, yeah, I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I was born and raised there my entire life. I live with my mom. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I want to say when I was 18, I decided that I was going to go into the military. And then I was back and forth. Like I had to take my ASVAB 2 times. So the first time I took my ASVAB, I actually didn't pass it. And I kind of felt like, okay, the military wasn't for me, or maybe that's not the avenue that I was destined to have. So
what's ASVAB? I'm sorry.
The ASVAB, it's a quiz that you have to take in order to get into the military.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's a placement test. Yeah, to see if you qualify. So I took it once and I didn't pass it, and I kind of gave up on it. But then 2 years later, I want to say I was 20 or 21, I decided to try again. Wow. And I made it. I passed it. Yeah. So that's how I ended up going into the military. I don't know if you want me to like dive deeper into.
No, we can start there. That I would love to actually start right there, or just focus in on that, because again, you grew up, but then you had your childhood Pentecostal Florida. Pensacola. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was about to say Pentecostal. I was like,
no. Pensacola.
Okay, Pensacola.
It's really close to Alabama.
Oh wow, really? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So you're pretty much from Alabama.
Basically.
You just like to say okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So you grew up in Florida. All of a sudden you go out through your elementary, high school, all of that. And you spent all of that in Florida as well.
Yes, I was born and raised there. We moved to Atlanta like once, but it was for such a short amount of time. Maybe like a month. Remember when I told you that I was kind of like all over the place?
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of moving around. But Pensacola is where I really grew up at and went to school and learned everything that I know. So.
Let me ask you that. Yeah, and if you want to, we can dive a bit deeper on that. But how was it moving around a lot as a child? Like, how did that play an aspect on your childhood. Is that something that you would say, looking back on, you kind of in a sense resent it? You don't have to go into why you moved around if you don't want to, but in moving around a lot, how was that? Did you enjoy that? Did you like it because it allowed you to see certain different places, or would you say you kind of resented it because you never could really build friendships and things of that nature?
I would say as an adult looking back, I resent it because I noticed I noticed a sense of detachment within myself.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that has a lot to do with it. Like it was a constant change. It was a constant like getting to know something or someone and then moving. Like even when I was staying with my friends, I was like, it was never stable. And I noticed that behavior in me now, not anything too bad, but like I feel like when people try to get super close to me, it's like I don't want to get attached in a sense. Maybe like I'm expecting to have to like revert again or move. And these are things that looking like in that moment I didn't notice, but like I told you as an adult, there are all these habits that I'm starting to become aware of about myself. And I'm really like diving deep into me. And I'm seeing that it's coming from like childhood things that happened or life experiences that I had. And yeah, so I would say resentment in a sense. Yeah, I would say a resentment for sure.
In terms of the moves too, were they drastic moves, like in a sense of like hours away? It was kind of like you couldn't just go see these friends every other day. It was pretty far, or these were.
No, it wasn't drastic in the sense of like hours, but it would always cause a friction between my friendships with the people that I stayed with. Like, I guess they would, in a sense, get comfortable with me being there, or we're building something, and then I would leave. Like I would have to go somewhere. Yeah, it was never like because those people that I stayed with, I don't even talk to them anymore, and it kind of makes me feel sad sometimes because they were there for me in a time of need and things like that. But I have this thing about myself to where I used to, just like I said, the detachment. Like it wasn't hard for me to get up and be like, okay, I got to go to the next thing. And I didn't really realize that people's emotions and things like that get involved, especially when you're living with someone and you're building like a bond with them. So yeah, it wasn't hard for me to see these people. It's just things would just end abruptly. Like it was like a cutoff in a sense.
That is actually very interesting.
Yeah.
And the fact that you actually, again, I told you this too earlier, that I really admire how you reflect on yourself. You really take the time to look and have that self-reflection. So when did you realize that this was something that was affecting you? Like, when did you realize that, oh, wow, I actually can easily detach from people? Like, when did you realize that?
Relationships, I think, with men. Like when they tried to date me or talk to me, I just noticed that, how do I explain it? I just noticed that there was like a barrier or like a wall. That's when I noticed it the most, was like, okay, if there was actually like a good man trying to do the right things and be stable and show me consistency, I was like taken aback by that. Like I was used to like chaos or like,
Yeah.
things not being, I just wasn't used to it. And I'm still kind of not, in a sense, like, so I was like, maybe it's me, because recently there was this guy, he was a nice guy. He still lives in Pensacola, and he was trying to like converse with me, and he was doing like all the right things. You know how somebody could check off a box and just be everything that you want them to be. But I was like pulling away from that. I was like, I don't even want to get into this. And I had asked myself, why not? Like, why don't you want to give this person a chance? What are you afraid of? I had to really ask myself that. Like, I always find like a deeper meaning to something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it
I don't
usually
even
is.
remember.
No, I was just saying it usually is. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I noticed it, that I do that detachment thing. Yeah. So, and even with being in the military, like, in the military, people come and go like crazy. So 1 minute your friend is there, then they're getting orders somewhere else. Yeah,
Wow, really?
Yeah. I not lost friends, but they left.
Yeah.
They got new orders, and you just eventually don't talk anymore. It's just always been like a thing.
Wow. Wow. And I was actually going to go into that in terms of the military. So you're moving around throughout your childhood. Again, like you were saying, things were not as stable. You're moving around from place to place. Where did the thought or the idea of you coming into the military come, or where did it play in all of this? When did you finally realize that's what I want to do, or this is something I want to pursue, and why?
Okay, I remember where I was. I was staying with my mom because I'll
Mm,
never forget. I went into the kitchen and I was like, "Mom, I'm going to the military." I just made an abrupt decision. I think I was just tired, like of of lacking.
mm,
I wanted to have something that was mine that I could build, and you know, I wanted something stable. I wanted a job. I wanted to feel like I was going to be okay in the
mm.
future. And at that time, I wasn't into fitness. I did not know what I wanted to do in my life. This was not a thing. So imagine my mind then was like, okay, what am I going to do in my life? I
Yeah.
just didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, the military, I just got to go. So yeah, that's where that came from, was just me wanting more for myself. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I get that. I definitely get that. And so did you know that the military, before you went into it, did you know that the military would provide that stability, or were you still just unsure?
I was still unsure.
Mm,
Like, the military, they tell you stuff, but they don't really tell you everything. I just kind of knew what I seen like on TV and stuff like that.
mm,
So the experience that I got out of it totally shocked me. And I can honestly say that I don't regret it because it molded me into somebody that I would have never thought that I was going to be. Like, I'm happy. Like, at first, I was like, oh, why did I do this? Because it could be really taxing. Like, it could be
mhm.
hard. It could be stressful. But it really changed me in a way that I would not take back. Like, it gave me qualities that I could take with myself for the rest of my life and apply to like my fitness and just, relationships with other people and my
Yeah.
mindset. So, but like going into it, I did not expect, it was a different experience than what I was expecting.
I love that because I remember, as I shared with you too, I actually at one point was going to try to go into it. Um,
Mhm,
I got recommended by my dad because I've always kind of had that. I don't know, maybe the aspect of the yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir.
mhm.
I was always like that. Like my mom would raise us to where she would, if we say yeah to our parents when we were little, all she had to do was go, and we like we knew, oh yes ma'am, and so we were kind of raised in that, not militia way, but more of a discipline, order
Mhm,
type of way.
mhm.
And so I remember my father one time just suggesting, because he had, I think, served in some form or branch of the military or some aspect of the army. But he was like, yeah, you would do great in that. But my mom, of course, and with many parents, they think that going off to the military is just, you're about to die. My
Yeah,
son, yeah, my son's about to die. I don't want you to die.
yeah.
And so they tell you not to go every single time. So for you, for one, let me ask this: how was your mom? If you want to go into that, how was your mom in regards to knowing that this is what you wanted to do, or was she kind of like, no, you're not about to do that, or how was she towards that?
She was non-responsive. Like, I don't, like I told you, I don't think she believed me.
Yeah,
I took it into my own hands. Like, I was really proactive on my own. I wasn't living with her when I had to go to, the MEP meetings. You got to go to like the office before you actually ship out
yeah,
and just practice how to march and salute. All those meetings and stuff, I was making sure I was getting myself there, or like the people that I was staying with were helping me. But my mom she wasn't involved in that. And I don't know if it's because like I said, I just really don't think she was in denial. It wasn't a reality for her that I was really
mm.
leaving and I was really going, because my family, I don't come from a military family. Like, nobody's really
Wow,
done that. Yeah, I was definitely the first one there. We
what
don't
the
do that.
heck?
Yeah,
She said we
yeah.
don't do
So it was
that.
probably like a shock. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I mean, nobody else left like that. Nobody
wow,
that, like, as far as close family as that I know,
yeah.
like, nobody did that. So I don't think it was registering up here. And then the day before, I was like, I'm shipping out tomorrow. I'm going to New Orleans and they're taking me out. And I was going to like Washington State. And I think that's when it all hit her. And I was staying with my dad at that time. And, they still invited her to come to breakfast with us that morning before I left. Like we had a breakfast. And then I left. And then that's when she texted me like she was really sad and stuff. I think it hit her in that moment when I was already leaving. But I don't think she was really emotionally attached to that whole experience.
Wow. And when you join the military, again, this is a personal question I have. Can you leave it at any, like, let's say you felt remorseful, or you kind of was like, all right, I let my mom go back to my mom. Were you able to up and just go and say, hey, I'm not going to do this? Or was it kind of like you're in?
Some people, you can go if you tell them that you can't handle it mentally, like medically. Like if there's in certain circumstances, they will discharge you early.
Oh, wow.
Let you leave during boot camp. Yeah. And boot camp was hard. Like I told you, I was very quiet, and it was really hard especially for somebody like me, like I was quiet. They were constantly, I feel like they noticed the quiet ones, so they pick at you more. So when we had like our inspections and stuff, my chief, I feel like people always see something in me before I see it in myself. Like my chief, I'll never forget, he was this black guy. He was really funny and everything, but every time we had inspections, he would always specifically tell me, like, if you get this question wrong, I'm gonna drop you. And drop you means like make you do push-ups or like make you work out in front of everybody. Like it's a punishment. So if he was like, if you get this wrong, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like it's like I felt like deep down he knew that I was capable of getting them right, doing it right. But he sensed that hesitant side of me, like I was, but I always got him right because he scared me, for one. So I would always get the questions right. But yeah, you could leave, but I didn't want to leave. As quiet as I was, and I could be, I've always had like something mentally to where I'm strong enough to adhere to something like that. But yeah, people dropped out. People don't make it through.
And so your mom's sitting there going, texting you, hey, I love my baby. Oh, baby, all this stuff. And you mean to tell me you sitting there on the plane or you in the car or wherever, and you're going, you're still like, hey, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, because I had committed to it. I worked so hard to prepare for it. I had cut my hair super short. I was like excited in a sense. Like I was ready. At that time, I thought you had to have like the short, military look.
Yeah.
I had chopped all my hair off. I was ready to go.
Well, hold on. How short we talking?
It was super short. Like there was nothing here. No, I had like a little bang, but the back gone. Like it was like tapered. And I remember I was like going to the track because you have to take a test, like a fitness test in the beginning. You have to run in a specific amount of time pertaining to your age. And I remember preparing for that, and I didn't work out, so I was dying out there like on the track and stuff. But I was like, I worked so hard to get to this point. Like I have to go. Like I'm still gonna go. And by the way, they take your phones too. Like when we're actually, you'll have your phone that one day. As soon as you get to the airport, you can't talk. You have to go silent. And then when you say a word, like you're in trouble. We're silent on the plane. We're silent to the bus right there. We get to Chicago, and then everybody puts their phones and stuff in a box. And I didn't see my phone again until the end of boot camp. I didn't see my phone again.
How long is boot camp?
I think it was 2 months for me, but I think now I'm like, yeah. I mean, we had like these pay phones that we went to, I think, as a privilege. Like once a month, you could go to the center and they had like these pay phones, but you didn't have your cell phone or anything like that.
Ooh,
so I didn't have to like see anybody's emotions missing me or anything like that too much.
Do you feel like is that why they do it? So that
I think so. Yeah. Because that would mentally, like they could write letters and stuff, but imagine like constantly being emotionally detached to the outside world while you stuck where you're at. A lot of people will probably have a way more difficult time getting through it.
True. Oh my goodness. That is, wow. So, okay, let's rewind it back a little bit.
Okay.
Who, if you don't mind going a little bit into this, because I think this will help me and my viewers get a perspective on who Kaylina was before the military. So in some sense, you have this mentality, you have this mindset of all this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to the military. That's like most people wouldn't even think of doing that unless they had to. Like you said, you wanted a stable environment. So you felt like this would provide that. Your back was in some sense against the wall. But who were you beforehand? We see the mentality you're kind of going into and where you're headed. But who were you a little bit before? If you don't mind going, if you want to go a little bit into that, you don't have to, but it's up to you.
Yeah. I would say I was a lost person. I would definitely say I was lost. I didn't have a sense of direction. And like I said, well, what I told you earlier is I felt like I was looking for validation. You know how I told you I felt like I didn't have anything stable. I felt like I was like looking for that, or looking for people to tell me that I was worth something.
Yeah.
So I was just starting to go ballistic, like not like crazy, like out here destroying the city, but you know what I mean? Like just doing what I wanted and thinking that I had the answers to everything. I was a really, really good kid in school. I was really, really smart, like very smart. But when I got into like freshman year, I would do things like started skipping class and stuff. I think I just got tired of like, you know how we talked about the bullying and things like that. I would start like not going to class, and slowly but surely the habits just kind of like built up. And I think it was me not wanting to deal with what I was dealing with in school. Like it was just draining. So I started to say, I don't care. I had a I don't care mentality. It was I don't care. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to go into this. I kind of forgot if you said that you would want to go into it, but the bullying aspect of it. Did you want to go into a little bit into that, or we can go past
we can. Yeah, no, we can talk about it.
Okay, sure.
Maybe they'll see it. They need to see it.
Okay, all right. Well, in regards to that, like I know we talked about that a little bit, but I didn't necessarily want to pry too much. But I did want to at least know, or I guess in some sense, ask if you knew or had an idea as to why. Why do you feel like they bullied you? Or why do you feel like the people around you? And how long did this? I guess what was the time period for the bullying? And then why do you feel like they, in some sense, targeted you? If you have any idea.
I would say I noticed it in middle school, but it got really bad like in high school. It was like a consistent thing. And it was not men, little boys and girls. Like it was a mixture. As to why, I honestly can't tell you the mindset of people towards somebody like me. Like I told you, I feel like I never fit in.
Yeah.
I really do. Not in a bad way. I've never had a follower mentality. Like I've never had a sense or urge to like fit in with other people or do something because they're doing it, or just, hey, I just didn't do that. Like I was super quiet and I just stayed to myself. And for some reason, I just feel like people don't like that. They don't like people who have their own identity or who just want to chill by themselves. I'll never understand the logic. I don't know. But because when I tell you there's not a logical reason, like I'm not the type of person that went to school and messed with anybody.
Right.
Just to myself, to my grades. I did tell you that guys did like me. And it was like effortless. Like with women, that could have been why. Because most of the girls that picked on me, they were really loud and like kind of obnoxious in a sense. And I was the opposite of that. And sometimes people, they don't like that either. Like, I'm trying so hard, and how does she get that attention? She doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? It's little stuff like that. You'll be surprised at what triggers other people. I feel like sometimes people won't like you because of who you are and your aura and just being you. And that sucks, but that's the reality of it. So yeah, I don't know. And as far as like guys picking at me, I don't know. Maybe they had a crush on me. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
maybe they just immature emotionally. Because a lot of the guys that did that, like when I would go home to visit from the military, like when I had breaks, as we got older and adults, like I would see them out and they would try to speak to me like on some talking to me type of thing. Yeah. And I was like, do you not remember how you treated me when we was in English class? Like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, this was this one guy, he was so mean to me. But when I seen him when I was older, when I went home, he was trying to talk to me. So I just feel like deep down it's a sense of admiration. They really liked me. They just didn't know. I don't know. People don't know how to
How to
deal
handle
with
it.
different. Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't know how to deal with different. And I'm like,
They don't know how to express it. They just,
yeah,
it's
like
just like,
I don't know, because that was the same way with my siblings. Like we're all like that. We do have that in common. Like my sisters, and we're all like that. We all have our own sense of individuality. Like I went to school with my older sister. She was very unique, very different. Had her own group of friends, didn't follow a certain specific type of crowd, and she dealt with the same issues. That's just how we are. Like, and people didn't understand it. Like they didn't understand.
if you don't mind me going a bit deeper, if you don't mind sharing maybe some of the things that they did to you, what were some of the things that they would do to you in terms of the bullying? Because bullying is something I feel like isn't talked much about. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
My lady,
Yeah.
she was bullied. My lady was bullied too
Mhm.
from I think the same time period. She was that's actually the something I find in common with y'all very much so. It was the same thing that happened to her. Like, but it was, football team, like it's just this weird thing. I'm like, what the heck? You
It's
know,
weird.
it's just weird. So,
Yeah.
if you don't mind just sharing a few things that they would do to you that I guess in some sense made you realize that it was bullying.
They would just find any reason to mess with me. Like I remember this one girl, like she would try to pick me apart every day in class.
Mm,
Eventually I started to stand up to her because I got tired of it. But like she'd be like, why do you look like that? Or why is that? And I remember one time some girl was like, oh, she was like, are you mixed? Mixed has a stigma of being
yeah,
like pretty or popular. I don't know what that meant. She
yeah.
was like, are you mixed? And this other girl was like, she's not mixed. Her eyes are regular, or they're just like brown or something. Like she was
Mm,
trying to degrade me. Like it's like they wanted me to be a nobody so bad. Like I don't know. It was like little silly stuff. Like
yeah,
it was stupid, like stupid stuff. But
yeah.
they would always pick at me. But I don't know. I don't know why. And then
Mm,
I also feel like it could have been, like I said, I was really smart in school. Like I was, especially in like English or stuff, I had no
mm,
issues in those classes. And we would have like these competitions where we had to like play these English games. And
mm.
when I kid you not, everybody, literally almost everybody, because I have a quick mind, like
Yeah.
they would come to me trying to get the answer or ask me,
Mm,
we know Kaylina knows it, we know Kaylina knows it. So, just those little things of
mm.
being effortlessly smart.
What would the guys do? I'm curious. I'm sorry.
I don't even remember specifically. They
Mm,
were just picking, like,
yeah.
it's Kaylina, blah, blah. Especially in my English class, like, he just would not leave me. That guy would not leave me alone. I honestly don't remember specific
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
I remember the picking and the prying at me.
Mm,
Just won't let me live. I just wanted to go to class and just be in class, but that
yeah.
was impossible. And the reason why I was so quiet, I feel like some people are so quiet, is because they don't want that attention brought to them. So I
Yeah.
was quiet because I didn't want to be bothered. But for some reason, that brought more attention
Attention.
to me. Yes,
Yeah.
it brought more attention to me. And at that time, I was not a stand-up type of person. Like
Yeah.
I would just let people pick on me. Like I didn't stick up for myself.
Mm,
I didn't say anything. I was just letting that stuff rock. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, girl, why? But
yeah.
at that time, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what to
Mm,
do. It's just something you kind of like suppress, and it kept happening. And I guess I got used to it too. I was just like, I know what to expect from this person.
right.
Or I
Right.
know what's going to happen today in this class.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanna fast forward now back to you being in the military. But before I do that, I did want to just make sure that we cover this aspect of bullying. If you could rewind yourself back in that time period of bullying or you being bullied, what would you say to somebody that's going through that now? Maybe it's a little teenager or somebody that watches this interview. What advice would you give them to handle the situation? Should they run from it like you did in the sense of skipping classes, maybe avoiding going to certain different things or classes or certain people, or lying to get your way out of certain things? Should they tell the teachers? Does that work? Does that tell their parents? You know, what advice would you give yourself if you could go back in time and talk to Kaylina when she was in middle school or high school?
The advice that I would give it's easier said than done, and it's scary, but I would say to speak up. Don't even go to I mean, sometimes going to teachers can help, but I feel like
Mm,
the teachers sometimes don't even do much, to be honest with
mm,
you. And I honestly don't know how to tell you to find your voice in that moment. Because when I was there, I didn't know
mm,
how to find mine. But I just I would want people who are going through that to find their voice, to speak up, to, even if you got to get into a fight. Like,
mm,
looking back, I wish I had fought some people. I'm not gonna lie to you.